No, I was about to say somebody. We did when we did the serial killer show. Somebody pointed out because we mentioned that we couldn't find any
Did we
any black serial killers, and they mentioned Sam Little.
black serial killers? Right. He's the
Right.
Sam
He's
Little,
the
right?
yeah.
I hadn't heard of Sam Little until maybe he killed the most. Right?
Oh yeah, he was hardcore. I
From what I
mean,
understand, he's one of the top serial killers. They doing a show.
yeah. If you
They're
watch
doing a show on
YouTube,
him.
it's probably If you're watching YouTube, you probably see that ad that keep popping up on his. I see it all the time on my YouTube as an ad about Sam Little, where it's like, tell us about your
Right.
first one, and then the lady
Right.
start, it's crazy.
She's like, well, I be dead. He like, you're right, right. So right,
Yikes.
no joke, right? But take a look, right? Take a look. Now, I'm not gonna label signs as crazy or or mentally insane. Right? I'm not gonna do because there's no sign that is. All right,
Right.
but
There's no
there are
toxic
signs that open
signs,
the
no
path.
toxic astrology signs that people and stuff like that people are saying.
No, no toxic astrology signs. However, there are nakshatras that are toxic within those signs.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Our,
Mr. Sam has one of those classic placements. Oh man, right? Four placements in Gemini.
yeah.
Four. That's major. Right? At midnight, I put his time as midnight. And remember why I told my students, is why I'm telling you why. Midnight allows you to gauge the moon. If the moon is at, let's say, 16 degrees at midnight, then it's a good chance that the moon could be in the next sign.
Right.
Because if he's born after 12, right, it's a probability that the moon's going to move into the next sign.
Right.
It could, right? But if we put it at midnight and that moon is 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, 4 degrees, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, all the way up to 13 degrees, right? We can gauge that the moon is going to be in the same sign because the moon only moves 13 degrees per day. So 8 plus 13 is 24. He's still going to be in Gemini, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can say for sure that his moon is in Gemini. We know that. We don't know the ascendant. We don't know the houses. But we do know that the moon is in Gemini. And we know that the other planet that is there is, guess what? Mercury.
Mm-hmm. Sharing the nakshatra.
Isn't it interesting that I just said that moon and Mercury are the two keys to noticing in a chart for mental illness? That's what you look for. Now, what is it with? Mars. Oh, remember I said violence is one of the propensities of Mars, isn't it?
Right.
Another planet that's there. Look at the degree, but look at the difference between Mars and Venus.
It's 1 minute.
They're like what?
They're almost locked in by degree.
1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
1 minute. And I believe Mars is retrograde, isn't it?
No. Venus is.
Or is it Venus retrograde?
Venus is retrograde.
Venus is retrograde.
Right.
Right. So there's a planetary war, isn't it?
Yep.
Uh-oh. And guess who won the war?
Mars.
The planet in the lower degree. There's your murdering of what?
Women.
It's right there. You can't get any better than this, folks. This science is no joke. And guess what? Guess what? If it was Western, it wouldn't even look like this.
Nope. Yeah, all of these planets
You
would
have
go
two
to.
planets in Cancer and two planets in Gemini. You'd have two planets in Gemini and two planets in Cancer, because the two, Venus and Mars, would move into Cancer, and the other was to stay in later degrees Gemini.
Well,
Right?
Moon would be right there. It'd be like at
Moon.
29 degrees.
I mean,
At
it'll be at
Gemini.
the right. That's what I'm saying. At worst case scenario,
Mhm.
right? But I'm saying
That's
Moon is at 8 degrees at midnight. So the worst, the furthest he could go is 24 degrees,
right.
right? Because 13 and 8 is 24, right? So the furthest he could go is 24 degrees. He's at, and that's the edge. That's the end of the day, right?
Mhm.
So Mercury is going to move, right? He's going to move, but he'll still be in Gemini.
Right.
So there'll be two planets in Gemini, two planets in Cancer, if we're talking tropical, folks. So this is just to show you that the validity of the science is real. All these planets are really in Gemini. That is a lot of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Right.
So, you know, it goes with C. Person is destined to have mental instability. That the lessons that he was destined to deal with was around stabilizing, harnessing, and controlling all of these wayward thought processes.
Right.
Can't get any better than that, folks. That's dead on.
He also
That's
has
dead on. The man was.
He got that debilitated Saturn and it's aspecting that moon. I mean, aspecting Gemini from that placement right there as well. And I don't think that Saturn. I don't see
I
any
didn't even
cancellations for
say
it
that.
either.
I wasn't even gonna say nothing about that. That's a whole nother. That's a whole add-in, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a whole add-in. So I mean, this is mental illness, as you can see. See,
Oh yeah.
the time is the lock. The key is like unlocks everything. But without it, I can still look into the building, can I?
Absolutely.
Right? Maybe I can't walk into the building with the key. Like the key allows me to walk into the building. The time allows me to see everything inside the person. But I can still look inside the building and say, hey, there's a couch over there. There's a, you know what I mean? That's the difference. We're still looking inside his building, his spirit, right? But we're looking in it. We just don't know how it's arranged, right? But we can still see, hey, that's a raggedy couch over there. Hey, that's a messed up picture. Hey, he didn't like his mama, right? You can see all of those things.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a great example, and it's you know kind of interesting. Like you said, they're serial killer. I got to see this. Look at the chart. Oh my God, look at that. Right? You can't even. Moon and Mercury is just alone. I told you, Moon and Mercury does a lot of things, and without a malefic influence, it can create a very intelligent, smart, witty person. But when Mars is there, that fire, that energy, that angst, and it's in. And here's the thing about it, folks. I want you to think about this. Mars is at 20 degrees and some change. Just a little bit of change back, they all would be in Arthur, wouldn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And RJ ain't
Look
no
at the
joke.
hairline degree. It's a hairline. No, Ardra
Everybody I
is
know
one
what
of the
Ardra
most
is interesting, very interesting people, to say the least. Not knocking anybody who got some, key placements in Ardra.
very interesting individuals. Very.
Yeah.
No, but this very lively, electric individual, right? Without a doubt. Now, imagine if this was like, if he was born like at a time where it puts the Gemini in the ascendant, that would just be completely crazy. But anywhere this is placed in his chart, folks, it's gonna render, right, these results. So just to show you how to look at, number one, Moon. Number two, Moon, and it's in proximity with Venus, Mars, and Venus, and they're in a planetary war. Planetary wars are intense feelings for that person, sexually especially, because Mars and Venus deal in sexuality. All right, so this is definitely one of those classic conditions, classic cases that you can stamp it and put it in the file folder as case closed, right? Because this man is definitely right in the heavens deemed as one that is not to be played with.
Oh no, not at all. Not at all.
Definitely. The other thing I want to make mention is, when we look at these charts, right, you got to kind of assess what's the worst case scenario and what's the best case scenario. Best case scenario on a chart like this, say we didn't know anything about him at all, right? This guy's pretty witty. He's very smart, right? Very keen, knows how to get in and out of situations, right? Knows how to talk. Did what he did, right? Or none. But behind the scenes, when we begin to look at internally, now this person is tormented. The person really has some issues with women from the very beginning of his life. Right? I'm gonna actually listen to some of the whole thing, but see if I can ear hustle maybe some of those things about his early childhood, right? And see how it would tie into the chart, because that's when when you would do your case studies, right? That's when you begin to realize that this stuff is really, really, really powerful. You can see exactly what's going on.